Hey everybody, you know who I am, Heather. I felt the urgency to make this video because today's the day to vote for the 1919 land claim, and I wanted to give a little bit of history to why I feel obligated to make this presentation. As you go back to the history side of this, we're talking about three parcels of land, and the key one being Sambro. The other two, I can't remember their names. So in 1985, the research director for the Confederacy of Mainland Mi'kmaq, Dr. Donald M. Julian, with an E, I served under him for 6 years, which I'm very proud to say I have. What he did is he brought this to the chief's attention. Now, not too many of us are alive. Like when I think about it, this is Chief Lawrence Toney, my father, former Chief Lawrence Toney, former Chief Lawrence Paul, former Chief John Knockwood, former Chief Reg Maloney, former Chief Denny, and I'm missing so many. There are a few who are alive. There's the other one too from Gloos Cap, Chief Peters, not the current chief, but the former chief. Can't remember his name. Sorry, it's escaping me. So anyways, I was, as you guys know, I record history, and I've been recording history for 3 decades, so I was the mouse in the corner. When this all started in 1985, I joined the Confederacy of Mainland Mi'kmaq under Danny Paul back in 1987, 88. So anyway, it's been a while. And so in 2007, the 1919 land claim was accepted into the process which we see today. And in that case, this was put forward as a test case because when Don was looking in the archives, he was the one who found it. And if he did not find this land claims, we would not be having this discussion today. So thank you, Don Julian, because I really feel that throughout all of the stuff that's been going on out there, nobody has taken the time to thank Don, and I'm thanking him because it's like our ancestors have reached out from the grave and slapped this information in Don Julian's face. So right now, from what I'm seeing, just historically, we got $7 million offer from the Conservative government, which under the former Chief Rufus Capage and councillors at the time, they said no. And then when the Liberal government came in, they offered us $49 million. And by the way, when I was working at CMM, we had 100 land claims. So this is only three of 100 land claims. And I'm not even talking Unama'ki and Cape Breton. They have their own land claims. They actually, Eskasoni has a very similar case to this same one with expropriation. So anyway, and I'm going to be talking more about the other bands. Anyway, hopefully, but not much. So anyway, I'm going to put your emphasis over here. What are you going to get if you vote yes and no? And there's probably more that I'm not covering, so don't beat me up over this. So if you vote yes today on November 21st, the band between Indian Brook and Millbrook is going to get $49 million, off which $19 million is going to be set aside to be invested. The guy who's taking care of the investment, he's going to be paid $1,000 a month and for his expertise, and he only has to report to us yearly. So if we go below 19 million, then those investments would have to be reinvestment. And if we got some dividends to be paid out, they're going to be paid out in these 3 ways. Economic development, infrastructure, and housing. And no, we do not lose the current housing that the band gets. By the way, the current allocation from Department of Indian and Northern Affairs is social housing. That will remain. So anyways, and with a yes vote, everybody gets $3,000. And $3,000 for any children under the age of 18 will be invested. I know a lot of you parents out there saying you want your money for your kids, but the reason why there's so much insecurity around there is because parents make the choice on behalf of the child, and then the child doesn't see that money. Just saying, just call it like it is. So be happy they're going to invest it for your child for 18, because then that will be less of an economic burden down the road, and hopefully $3,000 will have some interest. So we're talking about 3 pieces of land, about 557 hectares of land. We will be getting more land if we say yes. Not the land there. Modern day compensation is money. You don't get the land back. Let me repeat that. Modern day compensation is money. So that's why you're seeing a settlement such as this. When I was at the community meeting, they said there's a chance of us being sued because of the term absolute surrender. And then even one person even said, this has never been done in 2,000 years. Those things I like to address. Those are big things. The lawyers at the table said it's highly unlikely for us to be sued. Why? Because back in 1919, that's when the land fell under our traditional government. That's why, like I said, Hammond's Plains was owned by Indian Brook and Millbrook. So the chances of us being unlikely being sued is because the land didn't belong to other First Nations communities, even though we had the original 7 districts. So, and I'm not the research director, I'm not a research director assistant, so I can't go on and explain all those other 100 land claims. But if you do want to know about the other 100 for your community, I welcome you to invite Don Julian, because he's serving as executive director for the Confederacy of Mi'kmaq Mi'kmaq. So anyway, so the other thing is, I guess that's all I want to say, that if you vote yes, if you vote no, the money is off the table. Is there a chance of it coming back? I'll be guessing. Is there a chance of more money? My guess is highly unlikely, because it all depends. Because if you vote no and the Liberals get out, we're back at 7 million. So, and then people could say like, oh, but we could get 490 million. Well, if you got 100 land claims, like let's go down the list. Out of 100 land claims, 3 get settled. There's 97 more. Do the math. So if we go no, the cost of court costs will be our cost to pursue further. Because right now, currently, all those lawyers everybody was complaining about, those were provided for us. People are even asking them, what's their salary? Who cares? We got the best money can buy fighting for us. They're on our side. And like I said, if you think, they're not, I can't change your mind, whatever. I know that we hire the best, and got to be proud that we can afford the best. So they said, will there be another vote? The other vote is only if insufficient voting members show up, according to the number of band members. So there is a chance of another vote, if it's no, depending on the number of voters. If sufficient voters show up and it's no vote, this is a done deal. We're done talking about it. So, if you want to go further, we'll be guessing with what direction that would be. However, I want to talk to you about something really important. This is not the first. Millbrook Land Claim, they surrendered land on 13A, exit 13A. You guys know where Super 8 Hotel, and you guys know what exit I'm talking about. The exit on the reserve. The land had to be surrendered for that exit. This happens more than you know. It is not the first. The most successful one is Grey Rock Power Center. Former Chief Joanna Bernard from Madawaska First Nation, she's on my reference list. So I used to belong to what was called an economic development network, and we had a few chiefs on our board. And former Chief Joanna Bernard she is now the director of Grey Rock Power Center. And so she went to the economic development side, because anybody who's in economic development, it's in your heart. Okay, so what Grey Rock Power Center did, they had a no vote. So what did that mean? They didn't have insufficient voters. Former Chief Joanna Bernard, she went knocking on every single door. And who did she have to convince? Surprisingly, the elders. So she listed their concerns, and she addressed them and was successful on the second vote being a yes. What do they have today? I wish I had a photo of, I wanted to Google Grey Rock Power Center, Madawaska First Nation. They have, I just drove by there this summer, and it's really huge, because when I went there for the grand opening, but now they got a big bingo, they got a gas bar, and there's a whole lot of stuff I could talk about that, but the most important thing, and I'm not going to, but the most important thing is everybody who wants to go to school is funded. Everyone who wants a house has a house. All their roads are paved. They made so much money from the corporate development that if somebody, like their O&M are bored, if somebody threw a cigarette butt out the window, they pretty much personally sweep the roads with a shovel or a broom because they have everything taken care of. They're no longer fighting amongst themselves. They're economically sustainable. And I wish that the band brought former Chief Joanna down to make a presentation to our community so that we're not afraid to vote yes or no. And we got to stop fighting amongst each other, because I'm like, we're still community members. Whether we vote yes or no, it's a personal thing. Everybody is so afraid to speak up. You vote yes, you're being called a sellout. You vote no, they're saying that we're being threatened, right? This makes sense to me, the yes vote. I'm like, start the car, because I wish our ancestors, like we had a telephone in heaven, so we can call all the chiefs who worked on this back in the late 80s, saying, hey guys, what do you think? Like, they're up there, they're looking down on us. This, when people talk about the next 7 generations, this is protection. This is building economic development. This is investment of the money. I mean, sure, we're going to get some money out of it, like whatever. I mean, I'm not even sure if that's on the table, but that's just what I'm hearing with the meeting that I attended. But I'm thinking, this is, our ancestors were taken off the land, and it was written and documented. It's a legal case, and it was accepted. And you know what? We won it, in a sense that if we're getting an offer like this, we already won. So if we want to say no, we want to delay this further. If you want more time to digest all of this there, it's just that this deal is off the table. This new deal, I don't know what it will look like, if there is going to be a new deal. I'm just going to say, yes, there will be. But what it's, let's not be greedy and thinking it's going to be $490 million. Like thinking we're worth more. Think about the fact that we have 100 land claims on the mainland in Nova Scotia alone. I'm not even talking Unamagi's land claims. This is just from the CMM bands. So I guess that's about it. I'm in favor, yes. Go ahead, hate me for the rest of your life. I'm speaking up because you know what? I was there. I was there with our chiefs. I've been there with the Atlantic Chiefs and the Nova Scotia Chiefs, both Union, both CMM, for 30 years. They're all dead. Some are alive, not many, but I was there, and they wanted this. And you know what? CMM proceeded with this, and here's where we're at. I'm just happy that, I guess I live to see this day, whether it's a yes or a no vote, I will accept whatever decision our community makes. I'm not going to hate you because you vote yes or no. Let's all stand united and vote from what's in your heart and accept whatever way this turns out. That's what it is.